He's above the cut line next to Chase Briscoe, coming off that big win last week at Pocono.
Yeah, we got a few more there. Kyle Larson and Austin Dillon in row 6. And back in row 7, Chris Buescher, he's who I picked to win the season tournament. Let's talk to him. Chris Buescher's TNT boys in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Man, you got a 3-race top 10 streak going, picking up momentum at the right time. And now you got Atlanta. Where's your confidence tonight?
Pretty good, man. RFK always brings fast race cars to these things. So, we need to come out here and do. Just a matter of having a clean night, executing at a high level. Got the team to do it here, so get this thing rolling and make our way forward.
What's the trick, to getting through this race? There's a lot of calamity. It's going to be tough in stage 3 as the intensity starts to ramp up. How do you kind of keep it together in your car?
Lots of voices in my head and people making sure I keep calm. But you know how these things play out. They're gonna get wild coming down to it. So we'll just make sure we're there for that. Make sure we keep it up front, keep this thing clean, and we'll have a shot at it.
Appreciate you giving us some time to talk. Good luck.
Thank you.
Starting lineup continues to roll bottom of the screen. Look at some of these drivers starting outside the top 30. Suarez, who won here last spring. We know how good McDowell is in the draft.
Well, we heard from Denny Hamlin earlier, starting all the way in the back, was trying to be patient, but he's starting next to one of the most aggressive drivers in Ross Chastain. Will patience succeed back there in row 17? SVG, the big winner at the road course of Mexico City, starting next. I'm going to give him like that young phenom ladle, Connor Zilic, so much pace.
And then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. all the way back in row 19. He's circled this race as an opportunity for him to punch his ticket to the playoffs. We'll keep an eye on him tonight.
20 rows in total, 40 cars. We don't see 40 all the time. Take a crazy race on a small track and jam even more cars in it.
Let's hear from our pit reporters. Before we go green, we start off with Danielle Trotta. Hello, Danielle.
Hi, Adam. Yeah, one of the biggest surprises so far this season is the fact that William Byron's only won one race, and he's been so dominant. Now, that one win was big. It was the Daytona 500. But since then, Byron has come so close so many times. In fact, in the last 5 races, he's led nearly 400 laps and won 4 stages. I asked Byron, are you frustrated you only have that one win? He said no, because in the 5 years my 24 team has been together, we've never been more dominant. His crew chief, Rudy Fugle, told me, watch out for my guy. He has 4 wins at drafting tracks because he knows how to find the front and stay there. He's rolling off 18th tonight, Alan.
Danielle, one of the best finishes for Kyle Busch this year came right here at Atlanta in the spring when he finished 7th. He needs another one tonight. The 2-time champ is now way below the playoff cut line, and he needs a win or at least a good run tonight. I talked to his crew chief, Randall Burnett, he was honest with me. He said, look, before we can even think about running up front tonight, we just have to get better at the basics, block and tackling, being good off the truck, having speed. Without practice, they don't know what kind of car they have. This track has been good, though, to Kyle Busch. Remember, he was on the losing end of one of the closest finishes in NASCAR history at this track. He can get it done. He just has to do it tonight. He's got a lot of work to do. He starts 29th, Marty Snyder.
Alan, when I talked to Billy Scott, the crew chief for Tyler Reddick this afternoon, I asked him, what do you need to accomplish tonight? He said, honestly, we just have to stop the slide. Tyler Reddick has lost 33 points to the cut line in just the last 3 races. And as Scott told me, listen, we would love to win a race before the regular season is up, but our main goal, just develop some consistency. That's how we won the regular season title last year, and that's what we have to accomplish, Adam, before the playoffs start.
You talk about that slide outside the top 10 in 8 of the last 9 races for Tyler Reddick, but he has won in the draft last spring at Talladega Superspeedway. Now we get our race analysis for this evening's event.
Well, it's a 1.5-mile track, but it doesn't race like any other 1.5-mile tracks in NASCAR. It's a drafting race for sure. 260 laps make up the 400 miles. 60 lap stage 1, 100 lap stage 2. The final stage also 100 laps. That fuel window around 70 laps. I think guys might try to stretch it, save a little bit. But if you're running full out, about 70 as far as you can go.
Let's do our race know-how presented by Napa Auto Parts.
Well, it starts with the strategy. It just needs to be efficient. Goodyear tires are not as big a priority here as other racetracks. It's all come down to that Sunoco fuel. Be efficient when you're on pit road.
There's going to be a lot of things happening around you as a driver on this racetrack. The communication from your spotter will be so important tonight, helping sort of paint the picture of what's going on around you so you can focus on what's important. And also, a little help, a little luck. We're going to talk about pushers in row 2 on these restarts. You're going to need people to commit to you, to push you into the lead, clear into the lead on restarts, as well as we're racing around this racetrack 3 and 4 wide.
Helps one thing. I'd rather be lucky than good anytime, Adam. A lot of luck. I take a lot of luck.
It served me well in my life. I'll take lucky every time because I am no good. Let's get a little pep talk. Team radio, number 7, Justin Haley.
Eddie, I've had about 2 energy drinks already. I'm fucking wound up. Okie dokie, that's good to know. Yeah, let's make it happen.
Please tell me, Dale, you haven't had any energy drinks because you've been on the chip all week long in anticipation of this race.
I made that mistake one time at Martinsville and ended up, the car looked like it ran 500 miles after only 100 miles, so we'll have to keep an eye on that 7 car. He's going to be full of action tonight.
And 100 was a stretch because I remembered about lap 20. He told me to write in the notes, hey, take your notes out. I thought I was getting some car info. He goes, we got to cut down on the energy drinks before the start of the short track.
Logano goes inside lane here, and we talk about the starting lineup and, you know, all those Penske guys up there, but it's interesting to me that he's down on that inside lane.
You know, and we could talk about the calamity, as Dale mentioned earlier, and trying to be patient, but if you can't wait too long. You have to go right off the start. You have to get positions. You know, everyone knows track position matters. You just can't wait until we're near the end of the race and think you're going to magically leapfrog your way to the front.
And as you look at the front of this field, you see nothing but Fords. They have dominated in qualifying here. They've done really well winning a lot of stages. Also, they just haven't been able to finish the race and win in victory lane. A couple times Joey Logano's done that, but that's going to be the key to the races. Can the Fords not only control the race, but also get themselves to victory lane?
Look at the numbers there and what's happened since we went to this draft configuration in Atlanta.
Yeah, you see the stage wins, laps led. They really are really strong here, but it seems like when it really comes down to taking the high risks, everybody's game, and somebody else finds their way to victory lane, so we'll see.
The champ, Joey Logano, starts on the pole. Next to him, Josh Berry. It's race day in the ATL. NASCAR on TNT is back. We're glad you're with us on this Saturday night. Here we go.
Green, green, green.
Joe Logano getting some great help to get clear from his teammate. He's going to jump in front of Josh Berry on that outside line. Now the 22 of Logano and Josh Berry are clear. Which teammate do they jump in front of? Cindric up high, Blaney down low.
It seems simple, but that was a perfect example of why Logano's so good. Instantly he knows it's about what's happening behind. He picks up that push and now easily controls the race.
Look at that orange number 6 outside lane. That was Brad Keselowski trying to make a move, jump up inside the top 5. There he is looking for 4th alongside Blaney.
Haley squeezed in the middle back there. These straightaways are pretty wide, corners narrow. The straightaways invite you to get in a spot you shouldn't be when you get to the end of the front stretch, especially here, the end of the dogleg, Dale. The track kind of turns left. There's a lot of room to just turn left as you see Blaney kind of hanging a right.
Yeah, there's an opportunity for contact down the front straightaway. Everybody has a bit of a different interpretation of where they need to be, what line they need to run down the front straightaway. Saw some issues in the Xfinity race last night because of the side drafting and contact. Brad Keselowski trying to hang tough on the outside of Blaney. Keeps continuing to get the run to be able to stay on that outside of the 12. Blaney would love to get clear to join the other Penske cars in that front line. Those 3 cars out front. Yeah, Brad's got the help on the high side here, Adam. Looks like his teammate, the 60 Priest, is now behind the 6 car.
I loved your line in the drone map, a supercomputer. That's what the drivers needed to have, and you see instantly why. Every movement has to be just more precise and more committed is what I would say. If you're going to change lanes, you have to change them. You can't kind of nudge your way over.
Mentioned Priest, another one of the Fords up there. Behind him, 38, Zane Smith, looking for victory for the first time this year. 41, Cole Custer. That team has been performing at a high level lately. And right behind him, the 5 of Kyle Larson, a driver that doesn't always enter the conversation when we're racing in the draft. Won a stage here earlier this year, and they're getting closer and closer to winning at this style.
Well, he got out of the car the last time they raced at Atlanta and said, I had a lot of fun. That's the attitude. When you start having fun at these races, that's when they start going well. Brad Keselowski still on the outside of the 12. Can't seem to get clear. They can't really get to the back bumper of that 6 and give him the momentum. The 60 gets close, but then loses a little bit of aero grip, gets a little tight, has to come out of the gas. Brad's just barely hanging on that side draft, and here comes the 41 that'll push the 12 clear. Blaney is clear. Will he take the line away from the 6?
So clear, you can guard a little bit.
Top 4, now top 5, nose to tail at the front. Blaney slides in line. There's Keselowski behind him. And now it's the 60 of Priest, 41 of Custer side by side.
I'm watching as a driver. I'm seeing the outside line continue to prevail. So I'm going to be a little bit worried about being in the inside line. They don't have the numbers as well. They're about 1 car down on the inside line. That 41 hanging on the inside of the 60 there. Cole Custer, they had a great run over the past couple of weeks, shown a little bit of speed. Been a tough year for that 41. You see the 5 jump in the outside line. That's what he's seeing. He's like, hey, we're losing numbers on the inside line. I might jump to the top here. Now he's back to the bottom of 38. Larson and Cole down there by themselves. Here comes the 48, a teammate, Bowman, to the bottom of the racetrack. We see a little bit more gap between the cars, too, than we traditionally do at this racetrack. And I mentioned how this place